Hi, my name is Joe Durante from National Breaker Services. Here we have a GE Magna Blast breaker. It's a GE AM13.8-1000-4000 Amp with a Citadel vacuum breaker on it. And today we're going to show you what you have to do for adjustments when you're installing it into the cubicle. Well, we're going to show you the first step of fitting this breaker into the cubicle. You have the discharge arm over here. All right. What this does is when the breaker goes in, it goes up a ramp and down a ramp to discharge the springs on the vacuum breaker. This way it makes sure that the breaker doesn't get racked up in a charged position. So the next step is checking this breaker into the cubicle is you want to make sure that this ground strap here is making up right with the cubicle end just before you start racking the breaker up. You can take a look, there's shims in here. If you need to add shims or remove shims to make sure you got a good connection before you rack the breaker up. Your next step for fitting this breaker into the cubicle will be your interlocks, which is your trip-free arm. You have the roller here, that's when you roll it in, there's a groove, there's a rail that it rides when you're racking the breaker up. You want this roller to spin free when you push the breaker in. When the breaker is in the connect position, there's another groove in the rail that allows this to fall into, and then it spins free. If it spins free, this way it allows this arm to come back and the breaker will charge. If you have to make any adjustments, you have this adjustment here with this screw, or the two that are on the bracket right here with the shims. You can shim it in or out to make your other adjustments if you have to, if you're off. The next step to fit this breaker is your secondary disconnects. First of all, I would put a little bit of electrical grease on the pins so that as you rack it up, you want to make sure that it fits right with the cell side. If you have to make an adjustment, you got two bolts here that you can make the adjustments with. You can either remove or add shims to it so it will line up with the secondary block inside the cubicle. All right, next, once you got the breaker racked up all the way into the connect position, you have to take a look at this MOC operator here. You want to make sure that this will make up with the cell side MOC with adjustments, and the adjustments will be only adding washers or removing the washers to make the contacts change state when you operate the breaker. Next, I just want to talk about once you got the breaker in, if there's any adjustments that you have to make too, you can also make it with the linkages over here. Your discharge here, you can take the yoke end off on one side and maybe turn it half and turn one way or the other if it's not working properly. That's for the discharge arm. On the trip-free side, same thing. You got the yoke ends on both sides. So this way you don't have to go into the breaker. You just have to take the yoke end off on one side and turn it half a turn on the yoke end to make sure it works properly. That's if you have any problems. Last thing I want to talk about is how to manually charge this breaker with a manual charging handle. You stick it into the gearbox here and you just start cranking. Now it takes a little while until you feel a little bit of tension of the spring, but it's not bad at all. Now I just manually charged a 4000 amp 63 kA. Now if you want to get lazy, you could cut the end off of this, the manual charging handle, and put it into a cordless drill like I have here. Now I'm going to close the breaker, trip the breaker, and I'm going to charge it again with a cordless drill. I just charge it the easy way, the lazy man way.